everyone and welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Peta.
And I'm Luke.
And we are parents to 6 children. We've got 3 boys and 3 girls, and they are aged 9, 8, 6, 4.5, 3 and 3 months. And we'd like to share a bit about why we stopped homeschooling. So about this time last year, we posted a video on YouTube about why we were homeschooling, and we made it pretty clear that we wanted to homeschool our children like right through to year 12 and beyond. Our children have gone to school at the beginning of this year, so right now we're in almost the end of the middle of the year with term 2. They went to school at the beginning of this year. They've gone to a lovely Christian private school that we're really happy that they are at that school, and people have been asking why we sent them to school and what our plans are. So we thought we would share a video, let you know why they're in school. So we've been homeschooling since our eldest son was a toddler, and we have homeschooled the majority of time. They have had a few stints in a public school for a little bit, but I would say that most of the time we've been homeschooling. Okay, so I'm going to break it down to dot points. So number one. The number one reason we sent our children to school would be that homeschooling stresses us out.
Yep. It's hard work.
Yes. So just we feel stress from, well, especially I do, stress from the responsibility of being responsible for their education. It just plays on my mind. And I just find the thought of it really, it just really stresses me out. Oh, you might hear Cedar's, our baby is playing down there. And
just there.
You might hear him in the background. So also just the daily grind of having the children home all day is really tiring and just gets really stressful. I feel like I'm always on like high alert sort of stress mode, and I also don't have much time to think, and I'm a sort of person that likes quiet, and which is funny because I have 6 kids, but I thrive off of quiet moments and being able to hear myself think, and just having people asking me questions all day long interrupts my thoughts so much to the point where I felt like I was going crazy. And just makes me like snappy and stressed out and not really a great mum, because it's just I'm in that high alert stress mode. And
so I've launched Breathe In Designs this year, like just a couple of weeks ago, and even having a couple of kids running around the place making noise and fighting and pulling each other's hair out, it just interrupts the whole workflow. Like I need quiet, I need like somewhere to record things on a microphone and to chat with clients and to ring people and send emails without losing my train of thought. And what was happening was all the kids were home all the time, and they'd ask me to print a picture out on the computer, or they would just bust into the room, or I would be waking Cedar up in his room. So we're trying to work out still where office stuff's going to go, and desks and furniture, and where the kids are going to go, like change over rooms and beds and stuff to make it work. But having the kids home whilst trying to do a home business at the same time, where I can be interrupted at any time and just jump out of business mode into dad mode, like changing a nappy or taking someone to the loo or making a meal or doing more dishes, just sort of doesn't mix well together. Like the work-home balance just is out of whack. So the less kids that have been here, the better it's been to make it quiet. Like even at the moment they're watching internet TV in a nice peaceful place so that we can do this video. If we had all the kids here,
that wouldn't happen. Our 2 toddlers are watching the Wiggles. Yes. Why we do this video. Our other children are at school. So so that's another reason, is because of our new home business. and it just wasn't working. Like, we tried to make it work, and it just was not working. So I'll say number 2 reason is because we have one child in particular who's very difficult. He's always been this way, and yeah, it's just really tough. He really needs a teacher in charge of him, telling him what to do, because he is very strong-willed, very defiant. He's extremely intelligent, but he really needs that extra hand from a teacher. He's just intense, and we need a break from him, and not only us, but I would say our other children need breaks from him too. He just gets very intense, and he can sort of like snap and shout at people in an instant, and he's very bossy and opinionated, and I feel like, especially for our 6-year-old daughter, he's sort of not really picked on her, but he just gave her a hard time a lot, and she's very sensitive, and she was crying a lot, and we just really felt like she needed a break from him, and she's loving school, and she's having a really great time. So that is reason number 2. Reason number 3 is that we had a baby, and it just wasn't going to work this year, homeschooling. I knew how much time consuming a baby is, and I know some people homeschool with babies, and I have done it in the past, and it's
Just
it's
like something in there.
yeah. So anyway, I knew the extra pressure from having a baby and also homeschooling would probably just about break me and get me to breaking point, and we couldn't have that. We need me managing our household well, and not, hiding in the corner because I'm so stressed out, sort of thing. So
reason number 4 is we've finally found the right school we can send them to. So we have a nice, small, really loving, really Christian school that their main goal is to make schooling affordable for everybody. That's the foundation of the school. That's the principle they run on. The principal's actually a minister, like he's a pastor in a church. Everybody that's a teacher there has to be an active member of a church, not just go to church, but be involved in church. So that reassured us that we're sending them somewhere really good, where they can get well-rounded education that's not from us 24/7, it's from someone else, so they'll listen better, and they're separate from each other, so they won't fight all day. It gives us a quiet house, peace of mind, and we just know that, having gotten to know their teachers, that they are really involved in the kids. Like, we just chatted with one today about something that was going on with one of our kids, and they accommodated the entire class around one of our children who was having a bit of trouble getting to school. So that's the kind of teaching they have there, and it's super affordable, way cheaper than other private schools that are ridiculously priced around the place.
So yeah, in the past, when we had felt like maybe we can't homeschool for a period of time, we'd sent them to a local public school, and we just never felt quite right about these schools, like about what they teach there. So yeah, we feel comfortable with this school, and it's the first school that we've really felt like that before. So I thought we'd share with you what our future plans with our children's education are. Will they always go to school, or do we hope to homeschool again? At the moment, we would love them to stay in this school that they're in, just to keep things stable and steady, and not to be chopping and changing, bringing them home, sending them back kind of thing. We do have a long-term goal to buy a bus.
A schoolie.
Yeah, and convert it into a motorhome.
House.
Yeah.
House on wheels.
And we would love to do some traveling one day. We probably won't travel full time, but we were thinking about living in our bus full time and then parking it up, and then they'll actually go to school when we're not traveling. And when we are traveling, we will probably homeschool. So maybe for a few months at a time, we'll homeschool when we're doing a big trip. And then when we get back, they will go back to school.
Yep. Pretty different plans. But it seems fun. The people that live on the road and minister on the road. Like we want to do music ministry and all kinds of stuff. Running church services. If we do that on the road, we need to school them somehow. And people that do that, they seem to have a good system. It seems to work. The kids are really well balanced. But we need that break from that at some point. So we need to do on and off, ministry trips in the bus, coming back and staying somewhere. So we need to find land or someone's house. We can rent their land, something. And also get the bus. But that's the plan, long-term plan.
Yeah, so I'll just share a few things about what we miss about homeschooling.
Some things.
I really miss the slow, relaxed mornings that we had when we're homeschooling. There's no rush to get out the door. And also I really miss the afternoons. They're much different to when your kids go to school, because obviously there's no homework, because we've already done our school in the beginning of the day. So in the afternoon, there's no homework. There's also no afternoon school rush either. We were kind of done with all we had to do during that day by the afternoon. So it's more relaxed afternoons. I also miss the innocence of our children when we're homeschooling. So when they go to school, they come home with all this kind of stuff that they've heard.
That we've never said.
That they haven't heard at home, and they pick up these random behaviours from the school kids. So that's something that we've had to deal with. So I kind of miss their innocence that they have when they're at home. I also miss the curriculum. I actually really like the ACE curriculum.
It's cute.
We actually still have the paces, and sometimes they still sit and do them just because they're kind of fun and they're really colourful, and I miss all the books and all the things that we did. So I miss that. I also miss the purpose I had when I was homeschooling. So, homeschooling, that was my job. I was teaching my children, and since we stopped homeschooling, I've just been feeling a bit directionless. I'm not sure what direction to go in now that they are at school. I definitely don't have nothing to do.
Yep.
I've got a lot to do. I've still got a baby at home and a 4-year-old most days and a 3-year-old, but I just don't have this direction that I had before. But I just need to find a new focus, and I think that I'm going to write a book.
Yay.
Yes. So the last thing we'll share is how they are going at school. Our 6-year-old daughter, she absolutely loves it. So she's really bubbly and likes people and likes friends, and she was the one that was the most enthusiastic about going. And she's really having a great time, and she's thriving and she's learning lots of stuff. Our 2 sons, our 8-year-old and 9-year-old, do you want to share about them?
Yes, well, the oldest, he seems to get to school fine. He just has a bit of trouble finding friends that are into the things that he's into, because he's into Rubik's Cubes and geometry and measuring stuff and numbers and different concepts. And all these other kids are just into, Pokemon cards and figurines and stuff. So he's very unique. But once he finds where he fits, he's okay. And
books, yeah. He's been going to the library and sitting in there.
They call him Bookworm because he just sits in the library, recess or lunch, just reading. And he'll read instead of eating. And we have to actually tear the book out of his hand to make him eat tea. That's the kind of reader he is. Same with writing. He's always writing, always making paper origami stuff. So he's okay once he has a good day at school. On and off.
Yes, it's just the afternoons that we struggle with him. He's really tired, and like I said in the previous video, he takes it out on everyone around him. And our 8-year-old son, he seemed to adjusted really well, and then he sort of went through this phase where he just didn't want to go, and we have had a lot of trouble getting him there. But we actually sorted that out with his teacher today, and she's going to work even harder to make him feel comfortable. So yeah, I'd say our boys have good days and bad days,
but the girls, completely different.
Yeah, the girls
Savannah's always had a good day. Holly loves the little kindy.
Yeah, so Holly,
So-
our 4-year-old, she's going to the kindy that's actually at the Christian school. There's one separate building that's for like the kindy kids, and so she's going 2 days a week to that at the school.
She
And
has a
She
blast.
loves it.
Once
Yeah.
you settle her in, she's fine. I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything bad about her or from her. So completely different to the boys. Which is funny because they're supposed to be the emotional ones,
Yes.
but they're not.
So yeah, so we're just still figuring this out. I feel like that when you go to a new place where there's new people, I found we've moved around a lot, and I've found it takes about 2 years. It's always the 2-year mark that it takes to really get to know people. So I would expect that it might take 2 years for our kids to really make friends, like proper friends, and find their place in that school. Yeah, it takes a while to get to know people, from my experience. So yeah, if you have any comments, our comment section is open. You can ask questions about homeschooling, about, you know,
Parenting,
whatever.
anything. Graphic design, writing books, anything. And we'll answer them.
Yes, and if you need a website done for your business, Luke can make your website.
I can do your website, a YouTube channel, a podcast, a logo. I can brand anything from scratch, even if you're a little business owner or a startup. And yeah, websites are my specialty. So if you haven't gotten online yet, you need to do it, and I can do it for you anytime. Links are below.
Yes, so should we say goodbye? We should get Cedar because he's sitting down there playing so nicely, and he might want to say goodbye.
Bye bye.
Hang on. Say bye.
Bye bye, YouTube.
He's not looking. Hang on.
He's wondering what just happened.
Say bye. Bye. Say subscribe. Oh.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
He's looking at me like, what are you talking about? You're not going anywhere.
Bye bye.
Bye.